Now, at the end of the previous episode, I mentioned that the way that Qi grabbed power and established the Xia Dynasty actually planted the seeds of chaos that will last for generations after him. So it's not surprising that it did not actually take very long for the first signs of trouble to show up. In fact, the first open undermining of Qi's authority happened directly at the feast to celebrate his victory over Bo Yi. So what happened and what were the events that followed after this? Well, you have to stick around for this video to find out, right? Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Apingo and I am the Chain Smoking Writer. Here we share the myths, legends and histories of the Chinese people from the first creation myths to the last imperial dynasty. More than 6,000 years of stories, one video at a time. And if you'd like to support the channel or connect with me on other social media platforms, all the links are available here or in the description box. So without much further ado, let's get on with the story. So, in the previous episode, we mentioned that after his victory over Bo Yi and effectively slaughtering his clan, Qi declared himself the undisputed ruler and overlord and king of the land, and he proclaimed the foundation of the Xia Dynasty and that future succession will only happen within the royal family. Although most of the regional leaders, in fact, I will guess 99% of them, at least most of them, begrudgingly accepted this change in the social compact, begrudgingly accepted this new normal and this new world order, many of the conservatives and the old guards of the land were actually appalled. Deep down inside, they were appalled by the way that King Qi seized power through military means, and actually a lot of them, although they do not say it, although they did not say it openly, they actually considered Qi a usurper, because Bo Yi was technically and legally the named successor to the throne. Now, chief among these people was the Youhu tribe, or the Youhu clan, who were a distant branch of the Xia royal family. And under the old system of succession, even if there was no named successor, the new leader, the new king of the land, was chosen from among the 12 major tribes of the land. And all 12 tribal chieftains had a chance to become the new king or the new overlord of the realm. And especially those with, close relations or with the preceding royal house. Now, with this switch over to a dynastic and hereditary succession system, the throne was passed to the direct descendant of the previous king, and all the major tribes now were effectively made irrelevant, and that would include the Youhus. And they would be forever shut out of consideration for succession. So, there's this personal benefit thing in the mix, for their disgruntlement and their grudge against Qi and his house right now. I mean, if you step on the benefits on a particular set of people, they naturally would be unhappy about it. It's just a matter of whether they are going to openly oppose you or if they have the might to openly oppose you. This is an unchanging law in human nature from the beginning until today. And the Youhu tribe did not even hide their unhappiness with this change, or at least the unhappiness with King Qi. At the banquet to celebrate King Qi's victory over Bo Yi, the Youhu tribe made their disdain of the newly established dynasty known, very well known, by not even bothering to show up for the celebration. They were effectively telling the world or anyone in the land that they did not recognize the authority of the Xia Dynasty. Simple as that. It was not long before the Youhu tribe officially proclaimed to the world that they considered Qi an illegitimate ruler who had not only betrayed the ancestral laws and acted against the will of heavens. According to the Youhu tribe, Qi actually had committed the most heinous of sins by usurping the throne through bloodshed, by, massacring and slaughtering Bo Yi and his clan. And according to their official proclamation, this is what the Youhu tribe said. Yao and Shun ascended through their own virtues and their merits. Only Yu's son received the throne through no other reason than his bloodline. Therefore, we are justified to attack him and to revert to the proper order of things. With that proclamation, the Youhu tribe raised the banner of rebellion and rallied men to their cause. Now, the Xia Dynasty's new capital under Qi was at the city called Anyi. And Anyi was just about 250 kilometers away from the Youhu tribe's tribal lands and the center of this rebellion. Now, this rebellion breaking out so near to the new capital was a direct stab to the heart of the new kingdom and the new dynasty, and it had a very real potential of destroying the Xia dynasty within the first generation, not to mention within the first year or first couple of years of foundation. As can be expected, King Qi was infuriated by this open challenge to his authority, and he decided to personally lead the campaign to put down this rebellion. Now, for many years before his ascension to the throne, we all know that he was second in command to his father Yu, and he had taken on the responsibilities of administration and governance. But Qi was also the overall commander of Yu's army during his father's reign, and he spent years building up the military's reserves, and he trained a highly effective army. Now, his strict and just treatment of the fighting men actually earned him the awe and respect of the leaders and the generals that served under him. And morale was high, and the soldiers were well equipped, and they were practically ready to march into battle at any time, as can be seen by the fact that they just wiped out Bo Yi's rebellion without breaking even a sweat. Now, in an attempt to basically tighten up discipline and raise the morale of the fighting men, Qi wrote the vows of Gan right before marching off into battle. And so after writing these vows, which was basically a document or a speech kind of thing, Qi summoned the generals of his 6 armies to him and addressed them solemnly, saying something along the lines of, "The Youhus have acted against the mandate of heavens, and they have disregarded the elements, and they have even discarded the use of our calendars. And now the heavens have decided that their time is up. And I have been tasked to put an end to this belligerence and this insubordination. Now, if the soldiers to the left of your chariots are not able to shoot the enemy and kill them effectively, then you have disobeyed my orders. If the soldiers to the right of your chariots are not able to spear the enemy and kill them efficiently, then you have disobeyed my orders. Now, if your chariot drivers are not skillful enough to drive through the battlefield, then you have disobeyed my orders. Now, he who has strictly followed my commands, I will commend them and bestow riches upon them in front of the ancestral shrine. However, he who has disobeyed my orders, I will mete out harsh punishments to him, with the communal gods as my witnesses. Not only will I make them slaves or execute them, I shall punish their sons, and I shall punish their sons' sons, and I shall punish all that has been begotten from their loins." Now, of course, with his justification of why he is attacking Youhu and his threats of retribution against those who will not fight bravely and courageously in the battle, the armies of the Xia dynasty charged fiercely into battle to meet the enemies on the battlefield at Gan, which is an area around today's Xi'an city in the Shanxi province. Now, although the Xia army were well trained and were better equipped, the Youhu tribe had the advantage of fighting on home ground, on familiar terrain. And as anyone who has a bit of military understanding would know, that the defenders always would have an advantage because they are trying to protect their home and their loved ones against an foreign invader. So, between better trained and better equipped and fighting on home ground and having the morale advantage, the war actually raged on for quite a while, with both sides both gaining and losing ground with each successive battle. However, the better equipped and better supplied Xia armies with their numerical advantage and economical strength slowly gained the upper hand, and before long they finally put down the rebellion. Although, to be honest, it was actually a hard campaign, much harder than the battle against Po Yi and his power grab. So what happened was that, after the victories on the battlefield, the Xia army actually invaded all the way into the heart of the Youhu lands. And every last man, woman, and child of the Youhu tribe who actually survived, who were not massacred, every last man, woman, and child were captured and enslaved, which effectively wiped out the entire tribe from the face of the land. Now, the battles that were fought at Kan and the ultimate victory over the Youhu tribe were instrumental in finally cementing King Qi's position and his creation of the feudal kingdom. The massacre and annihilation of the Youhu tribe, effectively silenced any dissenting voices amongst the conservatives and crushed any remaining hopes of anyone who were even dreaming of reverting to the old social compact, the old system. And King Qi, only fully grasped the reins of power and authority over the realm after this successful campaign. And, dynastic hereditary succession became the official manner of political succession for every successive regime from this time onwards, all the way until the last imperial dynasty ended in 1911 AD. And this was the year 2059 BC. Now, although there are not many records or documentations left behind about the Xia dynasty, there is one thing we can be sure of and we know for a fact, is that the system of a centralized military was started in the Xia dynasty. And it was formed from a core of nobles as commanding officers and built upon a foundation of peasants as the normal common frontline foot soldiers. Now, these frontline foot soldiers, as I mentioned, were made up of the peasants and farmers. So effectively, during peacetime, they were farmers and not common peasants. And during war times, they were all caught up and formed into armies. And the structure of the military was kind of in a decimal system with units made up of 10, 100,000, 10,000 people, so on and so forth. And the military was trained through a mixture of hunts, big-scale hunts, which would utilize units and, thousands of people. And they practice, the way formations and tactics by hunting. On the other side of it, there are dedicated military institutes and academies that train the commanders in tactics and stuff like that. Now, although the system was very new at the time and it was very rudimentary, it laid the basis and the foundation of a future military makeup all the way through the Shang dynasty and the Zhou dynasty that came behind it. Well, the subsequent dynasties like the Shang and the Zhou basically kept the core and the outline structure of the Xia military system and just made improvements and updates to it. So the core of the chariot fighters, chariot system, where you have the chariot driver, the archer on the left and the spearman on the right. The decimal system of, forming units and the peasant soldiers and the noble commanders. These were all systems that continued to be used for building militaries for the next 1,000-odd years through the next two dynasties after the Xia. So yeah, we can say that the feudal military system of ancient China started around this time at 2059 BC and went largely unchanged for about 1,000 years And even after that, it was just deviations and improvements and what have you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to thumb the video and sub to the channel and click on the bell icon to be updated when the next episode drops. And if you have anything to say, any questions you want to ask me, remember you can leave your comments in the comment section below, and I do personally go through all of them. And well, I guess that's it for today. We'll talk about another rebellion in the next episode. So yeah, I'll see you soon.